Definitely. What would you say, in like your experience with, are there any particular species that you see the most, or is it pretty equal in seeing what animals come into these centers?
I think the most frequent is probably different species of capuchins.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if you're familiar with that species, but
Is
it's
that the
it's
one from Ace Ventura? I don't know if
yes.
you're, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you see how you instantly referenced a movie. So
Right.
that's a big part of it. So especially with capuchins, they've been. I think that there was a time where there was a cast member on Friends. Ross had a capuchin,
Mhm.
and they're in so many movies. They're in so many TV shows. They're in films. People see that and they want to have one as a pet. It's a very, you know, that's like one of the first species of primate people think of because they're so familiar with it because it's in the media a lot.
Mm.
So that along with the fact that they are extremely intelligent, very very social. So people want to have those guys as pets. So they are very frequent victims of illegal trafficking. So those are the first ones, and then right after them, I want to say out here in this part of the world, woolly monkeys.
Mm.
They're another one that's just extremely intelligent, and the way they interact with people automatically they see themselves or they see like little kids in them, and so they really want them as pets. And so I guess you'd call it the black market, the people that work that illegal market, they are aware of that. They're aware of the demand, and so they take these animals out of the jungle and they sell them illegally um, to people as pets. A lot of times they'll sell them, like for example in Peru, illegal markets and black markets in Peru are a huge problem in certain cities, especially cities that are really close to the Amazon. Hunters go and get the monkeys, they bring them to the markets, they sell them as pets. These monkeys are also shipped to other countries, to France, to the United States, to China, also to be sold as pets. And it's not just monkeys, but it's lots of many species of the Amazon, from birds to anything you think of: turtles, caiman, reptile, any type of reptile, bird. Many species are taken from the Amazon and sold to people and to different countries to be sold as pets.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so sad to hear that because I know the Amazon is just struggling in so many different ways, and um and then to hear that they're pets, it's like this ongoing issue is like they don't make good pets. Like I mean, personally, I obviously believe they should be in the wild. They're intended, each animal has their own important, unique aspect to the environment that they give back, um and also just the fact that I feel like it's a good thing to bring into importance that they don't make good pets. Like I kind of always say this, like dogs, domestic cats, well, I guess that's debatable sometimes, but like dogs are made to be are kind of like our perfect companion. You see the same problem with like wolf dogs, and people want this exotic bond, like this bond with an exotic animal sometimes. But I think that there's so many really great ways that you could just be an observer of wildlife. Like you could take photography, you can go on eco tours, you could, maybe try to volunteer, and help to rehabilitate. Like, I think that it's important to try to focus on like some better ways to, if you would like to be involved or get involved in wildlife, that, you know, um, recognizing the importance of, one, you're taking something from its environment. You're obviously causing a lot of trauma for that animal too, because they're getting shipped all over the place. And also, like, you never know, like, what kind of, like, I'm sure if you're shipping something like, um like, that animal could probably die in transit. Either they could get diseases, or they could give to, like, maybe not necessarily even a human, but like to other animals that are around you. So um there's a lot of like intricacies to that as to why it's not a good idea.
Yes, yes, it's a lot. There are a lot of factors to consider. A lot of the animals that end up at rescue centers. So, I mean, a lot of times the police or the government, they confiscate them from the markets or from people. Like they'll find out somebody's trying to sell them or that someone has bought them, and they'll bring them to a rescue center. But also a lot of times people bring them to rescue centers because they've purchased them thinking that they're going to make great pets. And then the animal gets a little bit older and is creating havoc in their lives. And then they just want to dump it off at a rescue center. You see this so much with primates, and you see it also with big cats, because people, they buy, you know, baby jaguars, baby ocelots, thinking it's so cute, and then it grows up to be this massive wild cat that can't be tamed, and then they drop it off at rescue centers. So yes, that's a huge factor, that these animals don't make good pets. Also, yes, the concern with the spread of disease, the introduction of new diseases. I mean, it's such a real thing. And it's surprising to me that it's not something that has been, that has yet to be like a huge issue yet.
Right.
But I do think it's coming if we
Yeah.
continue the way we are. I
Yeah.
absolutely do, because yeah, there are so many zoonotic diseases that exist between human and primate, and those viruses, as we know about viruses, they can evolve, they can change, and it just takes one animal to introduce the wrong type of virus, the wrong type of mutated virus or infection, and that's it. So it's a big deal for, so like there's so many factors to consider when it comes to this.
Yeah. And then also just like I guess so people are dissuaded, like what are some things about like maybe like you could give an example about capuchins that like just make them bad pets.
Oh, Capuchins are the poster child for bad pets. And I think, yeah, it's so a shame that the media portrays them a certain way. Like, yeah, they're cute, they're fascinating animals, but in their environment, they are
Right.
absolutely destructive. They are
Yeah.
destructive animals. And even if they are sweet, you know, they're just, it's like, I don't even, it's worse than like if you have a toddler, like people that have experience with 2 year
Yeah.
olds running around. I mean, it's so much worse because it can jump everywhere, doesn't
Mm,
understand or care about no or anything like that. They're strong, they're dangerous. A bite from a capuchin can cause a great deal of complications as far as infection goes and such.
mm,
So, you know, and then your life your life will revolve around that animal, and not in a good way. They're just, they're destructive destructive
yeah.
animals, and like I said, very dangerous. I've worked with a lot of capuchins. I have a lot of experience with capuchins, and they are the most dangerous primate that I've ever worked with. You know, they've yanked my hair out of my head multiple times. They've attacked
Yeah.
me. um, so yeah, but you know, I'm sure there are people that, even people that have pet primates or that know people, and they're like, oh, well, you know, they do make a great pet for me or whatever. Even if, let's say that is the situation, there's so many other things to consider and why you don't want to contribute to that market. Because anytime you see a baby monkey, anytime, it does not matter what the person tells you. Those stories of, oh, well, the mother died, or, oh, he was abandoned by his mother. None of that is ever true. The,
Mm,
that animal ends up in human hands because somebody killed the mother and hunted it. There's no other situation where that happens. It is extremely rare, and people tell that story all the time. Well, oh, I'm rescuing it, or I rescued it. Its mother abandoned it, or its mother was randomly killed. No, that it, no matter what story you're told, that's not the story. These animals were
yeah.
stolen from the wild, their mothers were murdered, and it is always a brutal scenario. So you don't want to contribute to that at all.
Yeah. And are they social primates as well?
Yes, so all pretty much for the most part, all New World primates are social animals. You know, they all belong to troops. They all live in troops. They all have families. So yeah, they're not solitary. You know, individuals are not solitary species. So
Right.
even having like a one-on-one with them, it's not the same. They need families, they need their troops, their species to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that also goes back into like the proper enrichment is not, I don't think that, like, for animals especially that are supposed to be released back into the wilds, um that there's never going to be that proper enrichment like being in the wild, like being in a troop with their own family, their own kind, and doing what Mother Nature was gifting them for. um
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I think that's important to realize. And also monkeys, like they kind of scare, like, I mean, I love all animals and I have a healthy respect for them, and I feel like a part of that is like their teeth like scare me, like to be bit by one. Like I think that like people just always assume that animals are cute and cuddly, kind of like, oh, like I'm glad I used the example too of like that I recognize one from a movie, because there's always the way that these animals are being handled and then portrayed as, oh, they're like they're just like best buddies, like you could easily, but the that totally hides their wild nature and what they are all the time, for the most part, not just a trained monkey. So
Yes, yes. You are correct to have a fear of primates. I think everyone should have a healthy fear of primates
yeah.
because they are a lot stronger than they look. They're super strong. Even the little ones, even the capuchins, so strong, and you feel it. Like I've had interactions with aggressive individuals, and you just feel this amount of strength that you're not expecting. They use their nails, like they have nails similar to us, but they know how to like dig it into you. But it's so different because it's not sharp nails like cat nails. It's like if a person was fighting you with all their might and strength. It's so weird. So
Wow.
they have that, and they have the sharp teeth, the teeth that again carry a lot of bacteria, which can cause a great deal of infection if you're bitten. Um, yeah, they are dangerous. They're beautiful in their environment, in their ecosystem, and they're amazing to watch. And there's so many opportunities to see these animals in their environment and to take ethical tours. Even there's some really amazing ones in the Amazon that you can take while on a boat. And from the boat on the river, you can see all these different species of primates, and it's so awesome to see them in that environment. But as a pet in a home, no.
Yeah.